Hi, I'm Eva, and this video is going to be very helpful. It's going to be about signs of not eating enough, because when people come to raw vegan diet or a vegan diet, they sometimes say like, "Oh, I feel no energy, like I feel so bad," and most of the times, like very often, it's because they're not eating enough. Because fruit and vegetables are super high in water, and when you compare like fruit and vegetables and meat, cheese, dairy products, etc., like dairy products and meat, etc., they're super dense in calories. And when you compare them to fruit and vegetables are not very dense in calories. So you really have to eat a lot more volume when you go on a raw vegan diet, which is fruit based, or a vegan diet, which is rich and high in fruit and vegetables. So you really have to eat a lot more volume, and people underestimate. So I want to get straight into now the reasons and the symptoms that you might feel if you don't eat enough, and when you have to know, because it's very important to know them, because when you know them you can say that's a sign, and that's a sign that I have to eat more in order to feel good. So the first sign is very easy. It's low energy. So you feel tired, you feel low energy, and you feel, I don't know, very fatigued, and you feel just super down. Then it's a clear sign that you might, not be eating enough. I mean, of course, you might not sleep enough, etc., or you just like you're constantly on the go and you just are overworked, of course. But oftentimes it's also because people don't eat enough. So really make sure that you're eating enough. And very important, very interesting actually, when you're on a raw vegan diet or a high fruit based diet for many years, your hunger symptoms change. So you might not, like, I don't feel hungry in my stomach anymore, but I feel a hunger sensation in my throat, which is super interesting. And also, like, I get tired, so I know that I have to eat more. So the second one is constant hunger. I mean, that's obvious. Like, you're hungry all the time, you're hungry, you are not eating enough. I mean, that's simple. Then the next reason is inability to get your period or to get pregnant. And that's actually happening to some people who go on a raw vegan diet, because they go into this raw vegan diet and they say like, I want to detox my whole body and I want to do like all of those fasts and water fast, etc., and like they don't eat enough calories, and then they stop getting their period. And I think it is a big deal if you don't get your period, because it's not natural. I think it's natural to get your period, and it's natural to have the ability to get pregnant. So if you're not, like, if you don't get your period, really make sure that you're eating enough calories. And very interesting is when you ask people, how many calories do you eat, and the person says, I'm eating 2,500 calories. Oftentimes that's not true, because people underestimate when they go vegan with a lot of fruit and vegetables or raw vegan. And when you analyze how much they are really eating in a day, oftentimes they're just eating about 1,500 calories or something like that. And yeah, so really be true to yourself. If you need, then count your calories maybe for a week to just really get to know how much you really have to eat, because you have to eat more. So yeah, the next reason, and also very interesting, like it talked, I think, to 3-4 women who lost their period, and they gained their period after eating more food and eating more fat. And I think about the, like, people say, yeah, my fat intake was too low. And I think it's not just the fat. I mean, maybe yes, fat is helpful, but I think it was also because fat has, when you compare it to carbs, a lot more calories. So when people don't eat enough, they typically tend to eat more fat. And because it's just super dense in calories, so more dense in calories. So yeah. And the next thing is sleep issues. I mean, you wake up super early and you feel like super energized, but then later in the day, because you haven't slept enough, you're super tired, or maybe you just can't sleep because you're hungry. I mean, it's obvious. Then we have, and super interesting, because some people who just go into the raw vegan diet, they're like, yeah, I just need 4 hours of sleep and I'm like superwoman. I'm just like, no, dude, you're not eating enough. It's just, you know, we want to do it long term. We want to create a long term healthy lifestyle. And a long term healthy lifestyle consists of sleeping about 7 to 9 hours, depending on how much sleep you need. But sleeping 4 hours is not enough, even if you're on a raw vegan diet. So then we have the next symptom, and that's irritability, which means that you're annoyed and you're just like super moody, and you feel like sometimes you want to cry for no reason, and you're super emotional. And this happens to me. Once I was not eating enough because I was in university and I had a lot of courses and I had simply no time to eat. So I got so emotional, and it was so crazy. Like, I was like, what is happening? And I was like, you're not eating enough. And then I was taking the time to eat something, and I was like, okay, I'm feeling better. So yeah, and I think also maybe for people who are raw vegan, this might be a controversial advice, but if you don't manage to get in enough calories during the day, maybe consider to eat something cooked that is dense in calories. And yeah, because sometimes, you know, it's difficult to get in enough calories from just fruit and vegetables. But I mean, it's your personal choice. And then we have, of course, feeling cold all the time. And this happens to me definitely because maybe if you don't know, before I turned vegan and vegetarian, I dealt with eating disorders. So I starved myself and I felt cold all the time. And I felt really cold. And now I don't really feel so cold anymore because I'm doing sports and I'm eating enough most of the time. So, but if you like, especially in the winter time, you're like, you have cold hands and cold feet and you just feel so cold all the time, it maybe is because you're not eating enough. And then of course constipation, and constipation is obvious because when you're not eating enough calories, most of the time people don't consume enough fiber, because fiber is in fruit and vegetables and stuff like this, so they get super constipated. So yeah, and then we have, of course, anxiety and depression. And when you, like, this happened to me as well. Once I was not eating enough and I felt like super, super anxious and like, what is happening? And I was like, okay, you just eat something, it's gonna be fine. And then I ate something and I felt so much better. So if you feel like in the evening before going to bed, you feel like so not good and so uncomfortable and so anxious and something, like maybe it's just because you're not eating enough. And yeah, and I think these are the most common symptoms that people have. And I think that eating enough is so important because in the long run, it will really hurt you. It will hurt your body. It will, you know, maybe sometimes it may also lead your hair to fall out, which is like not nice. And so it's really bad actually. And I think for me, I always wanted to be super skinny. And I like so many years ago, I really starved myself. And in the end, like I just binged on junk food and on unhealthy food. And then I, you know, had this regret and like blamed myself. But now I'm like eating enough and I feel good and I stay not skinny, but thin. And it's a really nice feeling because you have energy and you are like have energy to do sports, and it's really really nice actually. So yeah, so if you are, or if you want to go cooked raw vegan with a lot of fruit and vegetables, or you want to go raw vegan, high fruit raw vegan, make sure that you're eating enough. And it's really like people, like everyone, almost everyone underestimates how much they actually have to eat. And when you look at it, like one banana, for example, has 100 calories. So you have to eat 20 bananas a day to get 2,000 calories, which is like a lot. It's really a lot. Maybe now it doesn't sound much, but if you go to university and you have a normal job, it's a lot. So maybe if you struggle to get in enough calories, maybe consider to do smoothies or maybe even cooked food, depending on what you want to do. So I really really hope that this video helped you. And yeah, and before you blame the vegan or the raw vegan diet, like, because it's so funny, sometimes people say like, yeah, you know, I tried the vegan diet, but I didn't have any energy, so it didn't work for me. Like, this is not a diet that works or does not work. This is what we are designed to eat. I mean, we as humans are frugivores. There's no doubt about it. Like, there's no doubt. And I think when it's so funny when people say, yeah, you know, I try to eat fruit, but like my body doesn't like it. Like, it's not like a cow does not say like, yeah, you know, I try to eat grass, but for me it doesn't work, so I just decided to eat meat. You know, it's just not natural. It's just how we make it work. You know, so if before you say like, before you stop being vegan, just try out to eat more calories, and it's going to be good and you feel really, really, really good. So I really hope that this video helped you. If you have any more questions, you can write like comments. I try to answer them because like I have to work and university, but I give my best to answer your comments. And you can also write me on Instagram. And my name is Fruity Eva. And also very important is I have a podcast, and the name is also Fruity Eva, and I share a lot of interesting topics. And I love to make episodes for my podcast. Like, it's really, really nice. So yeah, goodbye. Goodbye.